So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again. We're going to talk about Manchester City, the club that I am currently on loan to for the next 2 seasons. After having a wonderful 2 seasons already on loan that has seen back-to-back Premier League titles, a treble. It's going well for Man City, and it's just got even better because they've just signed Gvardiol for quite a bit of money. Let's be real, it is a lot of money, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Gvardiol Mahrez, my baller. One of the best footballers I've ever seen, has now left the Premier League and gone to Saudi. So we're going to talk about that as well. Make sure you are smashing the likes up, people. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and share the content around, obviously. We are over 18.2k. So big up to everybody who has subscribed already. Get your comments and super chats in down below as well. And I will have a video out on the main channel as soon as you finish watching this. So go and check that out as well. But Gvardiol to Manchester City. I think everyone kind of knew that this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. And it all went a little bit quiet. Nobody really knew what was happening with it. You know, negotiations were going on and blah, blah, blah. And then out of nowhere, bang, here we go. Job done, medical completed. It's kind of crazy how football works. And this is why I've said millions of times, these journalists are always days behind. They're always days behind because the club only tell them what they want them to know. But he has obviously signed. 21 years old. It's the second signing behind Kovacic this summer, and he's coming in for big dollar as well, touching nearly 100 million, about 90 odd million quid that's being reported everywhere. That's some big money. But I do think they need another defender. I think the way Pep plays, as good as Nathan Ake was at left back, I do think this guy's going to be playing left back. He's obviously a centre back, as we know, but we know Pep moves in mysterious ways and will set up with 4 centre backs that can defend. And that was the reason, in my opinion, why they won the treble, why they won the Champions League, especially. Because in previous years in the Champions League, they were just gung-ho, end-to-end. Like, look at the Real Madrid game last season. Not the one just gone, the one before. That was just ridiculous. Like, end-to-end, it was like ping-pong. You know, and now they've got did have proper defenders that can defend, unlike the inverted fullback that you gave us, that can't defend. All of a sudden, Man City are hard to break down. You've got more control and domination in games and go on and win the treble. And now adding this guy in, Gvardiol, he's a top player. And I know people are pointing back to when Messi absolutely ruined him in the World Cup. But how many players has Messi ruined in his life? Quite a few. This guy's not the only one, that's for sure. But I do think when you actually pull it in comparison to other centre backs, Virgil van Dijk was about 70 odd mil. Harry Maguire was about 80 odd mil. This guy kind of makes sense that he's that much money, I suppose. Leipzig have obviously got quite a bit of money in this summer as well because they got rid of Dominic Szoboszlai and Cuckoo as well. So let's see if they actually invest in that money and try and win the Bundesliga, or just continue to do what they normally do and sell players off and try and find cheap players again. They're basically the German Brighton. They'll go and buy a load of cheap players, make them good, and sell them off for profit and never reinvest the profit. One day that will go wrong. But there we go. It is what it is. But yeah, Man City, it's a weird one with City because they're looking to get rid of so many players. And I just find that a bit crazy. Right? I know you shouldn't rest on your laurels once you've won what they've won, but to be getting rid of some of these players, or the stories that are doing the rounds about some of these players, it's a bit crazy, I can't lie. The talk of Bernardo Silva leaving. And if he goes, by the way, yeah, that is massive. For me, that's bigger than Gundogan even. Yeah, like Gundogan's a top player. But for me, Bernardo Silva, he's just effortless, man. The way he glides across a football pitch is just ridiculous. Yeah, nutmegs for fun. And if they get rid of him, yeah, that's hard to replace that. It's hard to replace not just the goals, because I know he doesn't score that many goals, but it's the creativity from the guy and the way he drags 4 or 5 players out of position. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. Obviously, Kyle Walker's linked to Bayern Munich as well. I can kind of understand that because obviously Kyle Walker relies quite heavily on his pace, and he is in his 30s now, I think. And Pep don't really want to go down the pace route anymore. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But Mahrez as well. He's obviously gone. 30 million quid. He's gone to Saudi Arabia. Al Ahly, I think that's how you say it. 32 years old. He's going to undergo his medical. Well, he did actually have his medical yesterday. I'm lying. He had his medical yesterday. And he's joining the same team that Edouard Mendy and Roberto Firmino have gone to. So they've got some players in there now. They're also with Mahrez as well. Like it's kind of mad because when he before Haaland got there, he was the top scorer for Man City for 2 seasons in a row. That was when Man City didn't have a striker and they were playing false nines here and false nines there. And Mahrez was unreal in them 2 seasons, scoring in Champions League semi against PSG, home and away. Unbelievably talented footballer. I love watching Mahrez play. But last season, didn't really play as many games as I expected. And that's because obviously Erling Haaland's come in, they got a striker, and they can just rotate the wingers now. But let's not forget that this guy did score a hat-trick in the FA Cup semi-final. First player to do that since 1958. Yeah, and that run where he just runs straight through the middle of the pitch was a joke. Crap defending, he's still got to do it. But the fact that they've got 30 million quid for him, 30 million quid for a 32-year-old Riyad Mahrez, and I know it's Saudi, but when you look at some of the other deals that have gone, Granit Xhaka's younger than him, and we sold him to Leverkusen for less than Man City have just got for Riyad Mahrez. And I know they're totally different players. Yeah, and I know it's totally different leagues. One's a bang average footballer, one's a decent footballer. But when you're doing it in comparison to age and to, the fact that Granit Xhaka is 2 years younger, I just find it baffling that we didn't get more money for him. Because there's teams out there that would have paid 35 million for Granit Xhaka. If there's teams out there paying 30-odd million for Mahrez at 32, surely there's teams out there that would have paid that for Granit Xhaka. But it's a Man City are elite for a reason. And that's because from top to bottom of their club, they're run properly. All the way through the academies, all the way through the first team, all the way through the hierarchy. It's all about getting the most out of your club. Yeah, and making sure that your club is winning. Yeah, all the development around the area and all of that they've done, it's unbelievable. I've been to the Etihad a few times, 4 or 5 times. I've never seen us win. Never seen us even get a draw. A bit like Anfield. I've never seen us win there either. But it is what it is. Well, listen, Man City are elite top to bottom. And when it comes to the boardroom level and they're going to haggle for deals for players like the player they just signed from Leipzig, or when they're trying to sell players like they have with Mahrez, they're respected all around the world in board levels. Whereas there's my club, that's getting better, but they've not been respected for a long, long time because we take the mick. Yeah, 40 million and one and all of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I find the fact that you got 30-odd million for him kind of peeved me off that we didn't get much more for Granit Xhaka. But like I said, Man City have just run elite. Yeah, and Saudi Arabia are going to enjoy watching Riyad Mahrez because he is going to be absolutely saucing in that league. Yeah, and he's still, listen, for me, he can still do it in the Premier League because he's never relied on pace. Yeah, he's one of the silkiest footballers you'll ever see. Left foot, right foot, the way he just does that little chop inside and just players sliding off. Unbelievable on free kicks as well. He's got worse on penalties the older he's got, but yeah, top player. And listen, the Saudi league might be worth tuning in for now. Now he's there because, like I said, he's one of my favourite players ever. And it's a sad day that the Premier League are seeing him leave. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, like I said, he has gone to Saudi now. And they got nearly half. Well, they did get half of their money back because they paid what, 60 million for him? 60 million, I think they paid for him, didn't they? So they got half their money back for him. That's kind of crazy. It was what? When did they pay him? 2018. So he's been there 5 years. Unreal. Played 47 times last season in all competitions, but didn't play that many minutes. Yeah, it's not like he was playing full games. He bagged 15 goals, though. Listen, he's a top baller. He can still play for a Premier League team for the next 2 or 3 years, in my opinion. So, kind of crazy. Before we wrap up as well, I've just seen this. Liverpool have agreed 12 million quid deal to sell Jordan Henderson to Saudi. 12 million they're getting for Jordan Henderson. Jesus, he's 33. How can these clubs get all this money for these players, but my club can't? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway, why does nobody want our players in Saudi Arabia? We got loads to get rid of. Come and get ours. Anyway, all have a blessed day, people. Make sure you are subbing to the channel. Like I said, I want to get to 20k ASAP. Come on, people. 20th of July, we're on 18.2. So let's get that subscription flying up. Make sure you like the video. That always helps. And leave your comments and super chats down below as well. Check out the other channel. Arsenal won 5-0 last night, or early hours of this morning, against MLS All-Stars. The goals were cracking. If you haven't seen them, go and check them out. All of the goals, even the penalty that Jorginho scored, he did this little hop, skip, jump and pinged it in. But some of the goals were unreal. So yeah, go and check that out. Go and check out the video that I'm about to drop now. So as soon as you finish watching this, it'll be live. Go and check that out. I'll be talking about the game, talking about what we need, talking about some of the players, etc., etc. And yeah, man, all have a blessed day. We're out of here. Ciao.